Hello everybody, back again now, round 18 I think. The video will have it, you know what round it is. We're in that round of the SRL Championship here at Singapore. This would be, a little spoiler here, the longest running race in SRL history. Singapore is already the longest race of the season because it's slow average speed to reach the distance of a Grand Prix, over 30 laps and a minute and a half laps. You know, it's a long race, plus multiple safety cars. You know, this becomes the longest race in SRL history. So because of that, I don't have qualifying recorded, but I did catch all the race, so at least we got that. And qualifying, I had a bad qualifying. Track got better at the end of the session, and I invalidated my last lap on the first corner like a fucking idiot. So we'll be starting P4, but we still got great pace on this track, and I wasn't worried at all, really, at this point. The only thing I was worried about in this race is the things I can't control, just like pretty much all the other rounds, especially due to the fact, you know, we got a difficult, windy, tight street circuit, difficult to overtake on, long race, plenty of time for a poorly timed safety car I can't control, you know, all of that shit. So, yeah, very hectic race. Probably on the cards here, I knew going into this, and obviously looking back, knowing it's the longest race in SRL history, you know, this is definitely going to be an interesting one for you guys to watch. Even if there's only 14 cars on the grid, it's still going to be hectic nonetheless. So starting P4, and we get an excellent launch off the line. Manuelito in first gets a terrible launch. No room for us, so we have to be a little patient here. The leaders come together. I get hit from behind, and we get caught up in the incident. And just like that, we are finding ourselves at the back with damage. Luckily, a VSC comes out, and I'm hoping, please upgrade to a full safety car. Please upgrade to a full safety car, because I'm going to have to pit here on the very first lap. You know, there's no question about that. And yeah, terrible start to this one. This is going to force me off my hard tires as well, the tire I want to be on. But I thought, okay, maybe I can do mediums to the end from here. So wasn't all that worried about the tire strategy, but the time loss I'm going to have with this extra pit stop. I'm basically just going to need a safety car to bring me back up to the field. And then from there, I'm still going to have to make my way through the whole field as well. So yeah, our chances to win are basically zero now before we even get through the first corner. So that sucks. Another first corner incident catches us up here. And yeah, and you can see here a long virtual safety car, which is kind of nice, but there's no way it's going to last until we pit, which is obviously inconvenient. And with this wing damage, orange front wing with simulation damage, you know, we're gonna have to. Oh, sorry. We're gonna have to pit, no question about it. No point staying out on this damaged wing at all. So just trying to keep the car as clean as possible as we head into the pits. Hopefully other people are damaged as well. We see a Alpine there falling back, so hopefully we are not the only person pitting on the first lap with damages. I was slow there because I noticed the McLaren was extra slow in the corner, so I thought he was coming in with damages, so I didn't want to go side by side with him there. And he's so slow coming in, you don't have to slow down there. And we just lose more time. You don't have to slow down going into the box in this league. It's something they've made very clear every race, but yet people still don't do it because people just don't pay attention at all, which is why we have the same exact people crashing out of every single race. A bunch of other people had to come in for damages, but we had to wait a little bit for a teammate. We're getting a wing change, and as you can see, we are now dead fucking last in this race, which is just, of course, absolutely fantastic. You love to see it. And now we basically just need a safety car to bring us back into this one. Pretty quickly here at the end of lap 2, we would catch up to a struggling Aston Martin, and we have another yellow flag up ahead. That is a spun out McLaren, so that's one free position down. And now hopefully we can get another quick position on this Aston Martin. But I'm just taking things cautiously with them because I mean, looking back, I don't know why I'm being so cautious around an Aston Martin. I mean, they've just been the pinnacle of consistency all season long, so it's not like I'm at any risk of an incident being near one of them. We'll get the DRS here, fly by, and alright, that is one position in the books. Still outside of the points, though, in this one. And, yeah, still looking for that safety car to bring us back into the race. And fast forwarding a little bit forward in the lap, we have an incident, and there it is. There is the full safety car that we needed in this race. So that will at least bring us back into the pack. And yeah, now we at least have a fighting chance for a good amount of points. At this point, the chances of a win are ruined, but hopefully we can at least continue to extend our championship lead over our teammate, as we've already got constructors pretty much wrapped up. Safety car to come in at the end of this lap. The game was kind of holding me back from being able to hit the gas here, which was really fucking annoying. I am in next to last. Field is going to back up a little bit. Again, the game's keeping me from hitting the gas. Super annoying. So we have a little bit of gap to Friabile ahead of us, also caught up. And well, he was caught up in that first lap incident, as you saw. First corner incident, I should say. And yeah, and our teammate's only 2 positions ahead of us. So a lot of people getting caught up in bullshit early on in this one. So hopefully we can still be on to not have a big deficit of points lost in the championship. We get by a Ferrari there that was struggling. And you have now seen that rain has started to fall. And that is an interesting variable now introduced into this race. We didn't know when the rain was going to come, so it was hard to guess when, what was going to happen, when it was going to come. It's come here pretty early on in the race, but that safety car was kind of long, so that kind of helped the rain come earlier in the race in terms of laps, I guess. Yeah, we find ourselves in P10 now in the points. Only 12 cars remaining already, and we're not even a third of the way through this one. And yeah, hopefully we can just get a couple more positions here before the rain comes, especially past our teammate, because then we'll just get held up in the pits again and probably find ourselves right back at the back of the pack again in this race. But you can see our teammate getting through there. The Alfa Romeo kind of struggling, gets pushed out wide by Friabile, comes back on the track. They're holding each other up, and that's holding me up and just letting my teammate get further ahead, which is really going to fuck me up when we have to pit if I get held up again in the pits. I'm constantly checking in with Mark about the weather report because I do not want to get caught out when I don't need to be. I didn't think it was time to come in yet. I thought, okay, let's get away with an extra lap out here during the crossover point. And because I knew I was going to lose a bunch of time anyhow in the pit. So I thought maybe if the drives were only a second or 2 or maybe even 3 seconds slower in this lap, then it will still be a net gain for me because I was going to lose multiple seconds in the pits having to pit behind my teammate. So yeah, and being held up by cars, the cars in front of me that whole lap, I was really hoping, all right, let's really go all out on this lap and see what we can do. And yeah, as you can see, the track is getting worse very quickly. I'm constantly being asked to update my strategy. Telling the game, yes, don't worry. I know I'm coming in at the end of this lap. The rain has come, and it has come quickly here at Singapore. But the grip isn't all that terrible yet on the track. So hopefully this will work out for us. But we will see. Still half a lap to go of not just driving in slightly shitty conditions, but also the track getting worse and worse as the lap progresses. But hopefully, like I said, it was just enough that this just isn't a loss for us. I mean, we don't really have anything to lose on this. We are already at the back of the pack, so it's just a free opportunity at a possible gain if this going 1 lap longer does work out for us. We will see here. We are now in Sector 3. I haven't made any big mistakes in the lap, so yeah, I feel like I've executed the lap pretty well, so it's just going to come down to the delta. Were the inters faster for the majority of the lap, or was it right for me to stay out? We're going to be figuring out here shortly. It's starting to get really slippery, as you can see. They're spinning the tires with half throttle in 3rd gear, but we are now at the end of the lap, so now we can finally pit off these tires, as the track is definitely in intermediate conditions at this point. fly into the pits and not slow down like everyone else was doing in front of us, like idiots. And we will see what the damage is when we come into the pits here, or when we come out, rather. But at least now we don't have to wait behind our teammate in the pits. Fresh inters on. Out in 2.3, got the minimal pit stop time. And you see our positions falling and my depression rising. And here comes everyone. There's my teammate. And we're going to come out almost side by side. Ugh. And it basically comes out just even. So I did get ahead of the Alfa Romeo, but I am still behind Free Abile. But if you think about it, it was definitely the right play for me to stay out, because I would not have come out right behind my teammate like this. I would have come out, 3, 4, 5 seconds behind him. So it was a net gain for us to make that decision by a couple of seconds. And now we find ourselves where we feel like we are quick in the wet running. So but it does make it harder to overtake on a track like this. So we'll see what happens. Still not even a third of the way through this race, and a lot has already happened. But yeah, we're all the way back in P9 of this one with our teammate up in 6th. But you can see no one's really spread out up ahead. So still a very good finish is on the cards for us, and we are bound and determined to get back up to where we should be. Now in the first sector of lap 10 in this race, no DRS because of the rain, but we get a good run coming out of the corner, so we are just going to hold down that button and hopefully get enough with the button and slipstream, even though slipstream is basically non-existent in this game, to get past Free Abile. He goes a little deep on the brakes. Maybe we can get a good run into this corner. We do. We get the better exit. Allows us to cut down the inside, get the position. I'm going defensive just to make sure he doesn't try to fight it back. Up into P8 now. We see cars battling ahead. We're going to take this opportunity to go up the inside of the Ferrari. He smartly doesn't fight us. Our teammate has spun out, and that is huge for us in terms of the championship and in this race, just because of the free position. And just like that, we are up 3 positions in this race in the matter of a sector. Unbelievable. McLaren's doing its best. I don't know what's going on here. It looked like he was going to let me go, and then he doesn't. I don't know what's going on. So hopefully we can get by him as quickly as possible and open a gap on the cars behind, as we do have the pace advantage over him. And yeah, you can see there's a decent gap ahead. But a safety car comes out, and that is going to halt our progress for now. An interesting decision would have to be made here, as the rain has now increased to heavy rain. I do not risk it pitting on this lap. Cameron ahead risks it going to the full wet, but I am going to be staying out until I hear otherwise, because the last thing you want to do is just be on the wrong tire, even for a couple laps of green flag running in the wet. So we're going to hold off for now, and we're going to keep asking Mark about the weather and make the right call from there, as we do know that the rain is going to end at the end of this race. So very tough decisions to be made, because do you hit the wets and then hit the inners again and the dries again? I mean, do you just stay through the very wet part with the inters and then just ride the inters all the way to the dry? I mean, it's one of those things where there's factors at play that you can't control, and you just don't know what the right decision is going to be, because not only is the weather changing at a dynamic rate that you can't predict, but also the safety car's coming out at a rate you can't predict. So there's just so many things going on that honestly it's just a guessing game. But we will see what decision we make here, as the track is getting worse rather quickly. At the end of the lap now, I know that the wets are definitely the fastest tire, and I know from experience in other leagues that the difference between being on the inners or wets, when one is the better, is pretty substantial. Again, I got cars slowing down in front of me, which is not going to help. I could have almost got by him there, but we don't. And yeah, this is going to be unfortunate for us. We're going to lose some spots, obviously, but you've got to be on the correct tire. You can't be on the wrong tire for the conditions pretty much ever in this game. And we will come out of the pits, it looks like, in P7. So yeah, with every step forward, it seems like we get steps taken against us. So it's been a really irritating race so far, but hopefully now things can settle down. We can just flex our pace in the wet and start making up some positions rather quickly. Safety car coming in at the end of lap 13. Still over half the race to go, folks, and so much has already happened. So we go green. Now, full wet conditions. We got some people ahead on the intermediate tire, and it's just absolutely going to be a shit show. As you can see, everyone is just nose to tail. And yeah, this race is going to escalate rather quickly. So I'm really trying to make sure I avoid any incidents that pop up. We get a better run than the Alfa Romeo. I'm not sure which Alfa Romeo that was, but it looks like we're going to be able to get by him here, and that's a massive position for us because he was also on the wets. Now we have a Red Bull ahead of us. Maybe we can get a better exit of the corner. We do. We're going to slip down the inside. He respects the space. We are now behind our teammate again as he has stayed out on the intermediate tire, so we should have a good advantage in terms of the tire over him. A Mercedes struggling on the intermediates. We're going to get past him as well. Up in the fourth, almost outbrake ourselves and go into the back of our teammate. Hopefully we can get by him quickly, and that'll throw us up into the podium positions. Things are really turning around for us quickly after this safety car restart. So yeah, now just got to battle our teammate here. He's still in contention to give us trouble in this championship, so this is a big position for us to get. You know, the rest of really the whole race doesn't really matter as long as I'm finishing ahead of Tim. So this is the important battle going on right here. Lap after lap, I'm stuck behind my teammate. Now on lap 17, still in fourth, still behind him. I forget, is he on the wet tire? Yes, he actually is on the wet tire. I was wrong. But we have room there. He runs out wide. We go up the inside, but now he's going to have the inside for this corner. And we're going to hold it on the outside. The leaders are going side by side. Everything is kicking off here in this race. We're up in the third. We got a battle for the lead here. Can't really tell who it is battling at the moment. We have a McLaren and an Alfa Tauri. The McLaren, I think that's Cameron because he was smart and pitted early onto the wets. He gets loose on the exit. We get by him. Now we just got to get ahead of Oleski, and we will be in the lead of this race after everything that has happened so far. Absolutely crazy how this race has managed to turn around from getting hit and spun out on lap 1 with damage to now fighting for the lead at about a little bit past the halfway point of the race. So yeah, things have really turned around for us quickly in this one. Now on lap 18, we are right behind him. We almost make contact with his rear left tire there, and we were going to try to get a better run. We get a warning there on the outside of the track, a dumb warning, honestly. And now we're right behind him with the ERS, with the slipstream, but slipstream means absolutely nothing in this game, so even though we go down an entire long straight with slipstream, we gain absolutely 0 feet, 0 inches on the car ahead. Just awesome game design. You have to love it. And so yeah, we're going to have to get more creative on how we overtake him, or really just get a better exit somewhere. Like right here, we're going to surprise him using the battery, go up the inside, launch it deep, take the track position, and we are now into the lead of this shit show of a race. It's already been such a long race, not just because, you know, how I've edited this video, but it really was such a long race, and you feel like, you know, we've had like a whole event already, and you look up and you still got 13 laps of Singapore to go. There is still a lot to go in this one, but we are where we need to be in the lead of this one. And yeah, 13 laps to go. We are looking good as long as nothing bad happens. And now the conditions have changed. It's been late rain. The track has been getting better. And with a retirement, I know a safety car is about to come out because I could hear in the chat that Ivan had crashed out. So I'm going to fly into the pits on the intermediates. I'm taking a guess here. And yeah, like I was saying, as long as something doesn't happen that we can't control, we should be on to win this one. Well, here's something we can't control. A safety car while the weather is changing, which just throws you. And once again, we are in a complete guessing situation. Hopefully we get the guess right. We pit. It looks like everyone else pretty much is pitting behind us, so we might still come out in first position. And yes, we will. We still come out in the lead. and we'll be on the correct tire. This turns out good for us. Really surprised to see a DNF by an Aston Martin driver. They have been such a pinnacle of consistency all season long. But hey, everyone makes mistakes sometimes, am I right? Now, safety car will come in. End of lap 22. We are going to hold our launch, make it unpredictable. We launch in the middle of the corner, which is difficult for us, but hey, I thought if it's difficult for me, it's difficult for everyone else, and it wasn't predictable. That's the most important part. And yeah, you can see our teammate had to pit there. He was still hanging on to those wets, I think, or he got damaged. I'm not sure which of the two. And we get a good launch, and we are off to the races figuratively and literally. We're on the correct tire. The rain will be ending though, so we probably will be going to dries sooner rather than later. And yeah, again, just awkward safety car timing and condition changing. The whole lobby is just thrown into a guessing situation, which, you know, it is realistic. You are going to have situations in real racing where, you know, there's things you can't control, or there's situations that you honestly don't know what the correct decision is. But when you're playing a game competitively, it is annoying because it's like, wow, it's like, I clearly have what it takes to win this race. I have a pace advantage, but there's just tons of factors that I absolutely can't control. And it'll be one thing with the weather changing, you not know when it changes. Okay, when the track dries up, you change tire. But when you also have that factor of the safety cars bringing the field together, so then one wrong pit stop decision is the difference between first and last. You know, it's just makes for a really frustrating situation because, like I said, it's just there's no way for you to always know exactly what the correct decision is. So at no fault of your own, you could just all of a sudden find yourself at the back of the pack. But you can see now they are recommending medium tires for me. So the track is getting better rather quickly. And yeah, it looks like we're going to have to try to pit onto the dries one lap after a safety car restart. Or are we? We are going to hold it out on these intermediates a little longer. We were thinking that maybe people pit a little early, so you know this is a risk that we are going to have to take. We actually will be lapping an Alfa Romeo there, and yeah, just really awkward situation in this race. And I thought like still with like the raindrops on the screen and stuff and DRS not being enabled, the dry tires can't be that much better that, you know, it's multiple seconds difference. Because even if you have inters on a completely dry track, it's only a difference of, I believe, like 4 seconds or something. So that still gives us plenty of laps where if anything would happen like a safety car, we're still in a great position. So, you know, there's, like I said, it's just tons of variables going on that you're trying to calculate all of them at one time. And like I said, at the end of the day, there's no true way to always have the correct decision in these situations because you don't know when a safety car is going to come out and you don't know exactly how quickly a track is going to dry or get wetter. So just got to do what you can, and yeah, we will see how this one pans out for us. And this was going to be a cut in the footage right there, but as you will see, Nicole is out of the session, and that has brought out a safety car. My oh my, this race just is the race that just keeps on giving, folks. And now with the track definitely being timed to go to dries, we are going to try to time the delta so we can just fly it into the pits without worry of a penalty. Not extend on the outside though and get ourselves a dumb track limits extension. And we will see where we come out. It is definitely going to be in the range where we can go to softs to the end of this one. And yeah, this race has just been absolutely nuts from beginning to end. Like you're seeing, it's the longest race in SRL history for a reason. The longest race of the season, plus many safety cars, plus wet weather involved, and multiple pit stops being necessary. Yeah, it's just been chaos. We fall down to P4 because of the people that had already pitted the dries. Yeah, it is just an irritating race to deal with where you're just constantly getting fucked by things you can't control. And you just kind of want to play the game normally and compete, but you can't because you're constantly just getting fucked. But that's nothing new. You guys have seen this happen over and over. I have known for having just awful fucking luck in racing, trying to keep as much temperature in these tires as I can. That's why I was flying all the way to being up in the queue. So now I just got to maintain these temperatures. I'm not really worried about the durability of the tire. I just need the tire to be warm so I can push right away as we skip ahead to the safety car coming in. I get held up a little bit. Now I'm going to have to battle with the Red Bull behind. He's going to try to swing around the outside, and he's going to get it done. We're going to slip back up the inside. And, yeah, we get held up on the safety car restart, and that makes us lose a position. I would go into what happened with that restart when the action dies down here a little bit. And this is Luke Smith that we are battling with, the super reserve, we call him. And he gets by us there. And going into that corner, there had to have just been desync between us. On my, I don't hit him on my screen, but he goes around. I feel terrible for it. That's the first time I've hit someone and it been my fault like a whole season long. So I have a good track record on not doing that. And yeah, I just felt terrible because I was like, what the fuck? On my screen, I didn't touch him. But yet there he is flying around. Like, I knew I got close to him, but I wasn't even worried about hitting him. Next thing I know, I just see him going around. Now I have wing damage. We're going to be polite and give a position back to him. And yeah, the situation just sucks. So now that the situation's died down a little bit, you can clearly see with the wing damage, I'm not going to catch up. Again, I feel bad for Luke. That wasn't his fault. In my defense, I'm going to say it's not my fault because it didn't look like we had a desync issue with each other, and I didn't make contact with the rear of his car on my screen, and he goes around. But is what it is. It sucks, and we're not going to win this race. So what happened on the safety car restart was the leader went too early. So he caught up to the safety car, and when you get too close to the safety car, everyone knows, then the game doesn't let you hit the gas. It forces you to back off. So he launched too early, and then it backed us up, which is how the Red Bull of Luke got by me in the first place, or else I would have been able to gain a position off that restart, and I was on the fresh soft tires, I would have won this race. So, yeah, that's down to the driver. You have to have a smooth restart. He doesn't. He goes way too early, and the game slows us all down. Like, that is his fault. He went too early. It's not a glitch in the game. But yet, for some reason, he was not given a penalty, even though it clearly states in the rules if you have an illegal safety car restart that it's a penalty. Honestly, just another steward's call that I don't agree with. It's pretty clear as day in the fucking rules that if you don't have a smooth restart, that's on you. What he did was clearly his own fault, and it not only was an illegal restart, but it completely changed the results of this race. I mean, Luke never would have got by me because I wouldn't have gotten held up by the backup. I never would have hit Luke, so Luke would have had a better finish. I would have went on the winner's race because I was on the fresh softs. Like, this race completely fucked us. I mean, that restart completely fucked the whole lobby, pretty much. It changed, like I said, it changed the whole lobby. But kind of the motto I've went with SRL so far this season is, if it does anything to make the championship closer by fucking Logan over, then it's not a penalty. Logan can be out in front going into the first corner, and you just beam him in the ass and send him to the back of the grid. That's okay. Put him in the wall in Monaco lap 1, just ignoring his presence there. That's okay. Illegal safety car restarts that negatively affect him. That's okay. As long as it makes the championship closer and more exciting, folks. It's okay. We're going to fast forward to the end of this one. I get by the two struggling cars ahead, and we come home in third. Should have been a win, but it's not. The longest race in SRL history, and boy, was it a fucking shit show. All these safety cars, all this changing weather, all these variables that you just got to guess. And it would have been an amazing comeback to get caught up in an incident in the first corner of the race, to go all the way back and win a race. But it doesn't happen because an illegal safety car restart happened, and it's okay for some reason. So once again, Jensen shows up as a reserve and just gets absolutely handed a free win, and just makes me look like a shitty driver because I just always get fucked out of these races. So tune in next week and see if we get fucked again.